Hello, friends. How are you? Welcome to the new year. And I'm just dropping on here with an episode of Ask Kerrie. Now, Robert has sent in an email and asked for some tips. He and a friend are in the process of setting up a storefront for healings and holistic healings and readings, and he sent through an email asking if I had any tips. Now, these tips do come from a vast array of experience. I did used to own and operate the Australian College of Mediumship, have worked in a number of new age and spiritual crystal shops over the years doing readings. Plus, I know from my own experience what it takes to really create a successful spiritual business. So I'm going to share these 7 tips with you and with Robert, hoping that he makes a great success of his new venture in 2023. And just to start with, Robert, just know that this is the year that when we are serving humanity, that we will see greater success, that it is being supported by the universal energies, and as you come into deeper alignment with your purpose. So it's a perfect year for you to be setting up a spiritually based business and opening such a store to help people. So my tips, here we go. The first one that I would do would be to definitely sit down and ask spirit. Now, being that you've got a partner, I would suggest that both of you sit down together and make that connection. Invoke spirit in to help you in this project. Often we forget to ask, we forget to give them permission to step in and take more of the driver's seat. So ask for that. And as you're doing that, really come up with a list of what you need their support with. Do you need to find a venue? Put out for the fact that you want a steady flow of customer traffic. Ask for an ease to signing the lease, all of those sort of, be specific in that way, but definitely invoke them and ask them for support. Come out of that with a vision of what you want it to look like when it's at its most successful. So that would be tip number 1. Tip number 2 would then be to do your research. First of all, when it comes to location, how much foot traffic is there? Foot traffic is a really important aspect when it comes to a shop front. So while you may not want to be in the hive of an expensive shopping centre, you still want to be where people are going to see you just as they're going about doing their ordinary shopping. Otherwise, you have to work much harder at advertising. So it's something to consider. Along with doing your research, I highly recommend that you research competitors in the area. So other crystal shops, other spiritual offerings, not just storefronts, but also other businesses. What are the yoga centers doing? Reiki healers, all of those things. What are they doing? Then I would suggest do that research. And the reason why you want to do that research is because you do want to pay attention to how well they're doing, what they're doing, who is doing better than others, and what are they offering. But more specifically, it links to my tip number 3. And that's to offer a unique experience. I think you need to stand out from the sea of sameness, even with a shop. So you want to offer a unique experience in some way. Now that links to your purpose and your partner's purpose, and it links to the practitioners that you may have come on board and help with you and offer different things, but offer a unique experience, something that is going to stand you out from that sea of sameness. And again, ask spirit for help and guidance around that. I mentioned practitioners in that tip, so certainly if you, tip number 4 is if you have other people coming in to do readings, to offer healings, other practitioners working in your storefront, then a must is agreements for all of them. Agreements that cover expectations, financial arrangements. That way everything is clear, what they are on board to do, what you are going to do to support bringing in clients for them, what they are going to do to bring in clients, all of those sort of arrangements. So agreements are a must for clarity around expectations when it comes to working with other people. So tip number 5, use your local Facebook community groups to advertise. I have found the local Facebook community groups to advertise any special events hugely successful, hugely worthwhile. Now you wouldn't necessarily go in there and offer big ticket items, but you would certainly highlight and recommend, who's coming up to do readings at the shop, any availability for the week, healings on offer, if you've got any specials going, if you have any product and product specials, all of those sort of things. Use your local Facebook community groups. They are a powerful source, and a lot of people are going to those over things like the yellow pages or advertising in the local paper or anything like that. So use those. They're free. They're simple and easy to use, and it creates discussion. So that's tip number 5. Tip number 6 is when you have your space. So when you have your shop front and you're pulling it all together and creating it and preparing it and making it look pretty and doing all of those things, one of the things that I would suggest would be to invoke spirit into the space. I do this no matter what space I work in. Anytime I move house, if I had a business, I would certainly need to do that. If I had a physical retreat center or a wellness center or any of those sort of bricks and mortar business, then I certainly would need, personally, I would need to do it. And it's something I started doing way back in 2006 when I set up the Australian College of Mediumship. So I would suggest very much that you invoke spirit into the place. When the place is there, you sit down again and form some sort of ceremony for yourself and your connection to spirit, and invite them in and create the space. Certainly, a lot of people may set up, protectors, doorway guardians, all of those things. That it's not really how I work, but I certainly invite them in to be supportive, to help balance the energies, and to keep and put your intention in there that they work with you to keep the flow of customer traffic, the people that need support, the people that need the help, that need the guidance, keep coming, and they inspire you to help create that happening. I would also, my last tip would be to have an open day. Celebrate it. Do it every year even. Let people know that you're around. Start off how you mean to continue, and, you know, open day specials, send out invitations to the other local businesses in the area. Let them know that you're there, and create a real celebration around it. And I'm just going to say, tip number 8, bonus tip, would be to network locally with your networking groups. You know, here in the Hawkesbury, I'm a big team member and an advocate for Hawkesbury Women in Business. And you will find that face-to-face networking in your local networking groups a huge benefit and a huge bonus, not just for customers, but also where you might find awesome people who can come and do some work at your store, who can, you know, offer other services that you can't, and may link back to that unique experience that you're going to offer. They will be telling their friends. People in the networking group will be excited for the opportunity. So that's one place to certainly make your connections. So just in summary, we've ended up with 8 tips. But just in summary, I said to number 1, ask spirit for help and support and create a vision from that. Number 2, do your research, foot traffic and what your competitors are doing. Out of that, tip number 3 was to offer a unique experience, something different to stand you out from the sea of sameness. Tip number 4 was agreements with all your practitioners who come and work in your shop. Tip number 5 was use your local Facebook community groups for advertising. Tip number 6 was to invoke spirit into your space when you find it before you open the doors to the public, and check in with that every so often, but definitely invoke spirit. Again, give them permission to be active in your sacred space. And tip number 7 was have an open day. Celebrate, let people know that you're there. And the bonus tip was face-to-face networking. Join your local networking groups and let people know that you're around, and be a regular at those. That's how you'll build that sense of community, and let people know that you were there, and they will more easily find you. So I wish you the best of luck, Robert. I want to hear all about it, how you get going, where your shop is, so I can shout it out for you. And thank you for sending through and emailing for some tips. And of course, if you have a question, anything in regards to your spiritual development, your connection to spirit, the afterlife, manifesting, creating success with a spiritual business, any of those sort of topics, if you have a question, then please don't hesitate to email in, and I'd be delighted to answer your questions on an Ask Kerrie episode. So God bless, and I'll see you again soon.